Hello and welcome to the Warcraft the audio commentary. Today, we're going to be watching a game I believe is from WEL. It's going to be a best of 3 with 2 very good players. But before we get to that, I want to go ahead and introduce my co-caster, Bidoux. Hello.
Hello.
You can catch him streaming at www.twitch.tv/BidouxTV if you want. Alternatively, you can catch him right here on this YouTube channel occasionally doing some commentaries with me.
It's all good fun. It's all good fun.
Super good fun. Now let's all go ahead and introduce our players. Down here in the lower left, we do have HLA spawning in as the pink undead, and if I'm not mistaken, this is looking like a standard late fiends build because he is playing versus Cash. He's going to be spawning in as the blue orc up here in the upper right, and looks like a pretty standard orc play. This map is going to be Last Refuge 1.3. Pretty excited.
I'm really excited to see Cash play, actually. We don't see him play that much.
No.
Because he's not on a team.
No.
Because he doesn't really do much nowadays. So it's nice to see him play anyway, and he's going to be opening with a Blade Master.
Absolutely, and you know, I'm pretty sure HLA is going to open with a Death Knight. Of course, he's playing pretty standard build, and you know, sometimes you got to do that. But with HLA, when you open up a build like this, you are pretty much resigning yourself to trying to creep to level 3. I mean, you can't always do it versus Orc. It depends on what strategy they play. If they decide to play super aggressive and harassy, it can actually really be a big problem trying to creep. But you can still creep generally. It just depends on, especially on this map, there's a lot of options. I mean, you can get shut down because, of course, there's only 2 ways out of your base, but there are a lot of creeps that are very easy across the map. For example, this gold mine right here, it has a Ogre Magi and 2 Forest Troll Trappers. That's very easy. It's like the Echo Isles gold mine. This one's obviously a little bit harder. Then you come over here, this one, Melting Valley creep right, very easy. Orange Camp, the shops, they're not very difficult either, so you can really just move yourself all over the map and creep out a lot of very easy camps if you want to hide from the Blade Master, if you want to try.
Yep, it's really going to come down to, like you said, how they deblay. So Cashy is buying a circlet of... Sorry, I had to do that to you, man. It's a part of our nature.
I'm not really sure what you said.
Cashy's going to buy a... The chat will know, the comments will know what I said. Anyway, Cashy's going to buy a circlet at the shop, and he's going to try to kill this Ogre Magi, get a nice item, and probably do some quick harassment. He's going to pick up that Potion of Greater Mana. That's a pretty good item. He could be aggressive with that item, because he'll have a lot more windwalks than usual.
I don't think he's going to use that early on. I think he's going to give that to a second hero. Because that is such a beautiful item right there. If he goes with a Shadow Hunter second, I mean, that is going to be an additional 2 or 3 healing waves. It's going to be extra hexes, etc. It's a really good item. If he goes with a Torn Chieftain, it's extra stomps. Really, really good item. I mean, I think he will use it on the Blade Master if he needs to, if he wastes his Windwalks, but I don't think he's going to try to do that. You can see he's almost full mana right now. I don't think he's going to feel the need to.
And Cashy is coming down to intercept this undead army creeping at the Forest Troll campfire there. Probably going to pick off this Forest Troll Trapper pretty easily. There you go, taking that experience, just trying to keep that Death Knight as low level as possible. Because like you said,
that skeleton XP too.
Yep, really nice. And like you said, the Death Knight right now for HLA is trying to get to level 3. That's basically what he's trying to do. And Cash's main job is to provide harassment while teching. He is obviously teching. A bit faster than the undead. This is kind of still pretty standard. Sometimes the orcs just go for a 1 burrow tech. We did not see that. We saw pretty standard. So Cashy coming back to the Murgles to try to snipe some more experience.
Yeah, absolutely is, and we're definitely going to see that Death Knight being able to pick that up with a Death Coil. It is a bit of a waste of mana, but he is sitting on full mana, so he's not too concerned. That was a really nice block to go ahead and prevent that Blade Master from getting over there to steal that Murloc creep, the Murloc Huntsman right there that did die. I don't know if you saw that with the skeletons, but definitely very nice, and of course we're just going to see that Blade Master now trying to be as harassy as possible, if that's, I'm not really sure that's a descriptive term.
It's a word now.
It is a word now, yes, just he's going to keep on harassing. Once they pick up level 2, he can't quite do that from one skeleton, but if he actually killed both of those skeletons, he would be able to do so, but never mind, he's going to back off and healing salve up. He is somewhat low and he doesn't want to quite risk that.
Yeah, and Cash did he's making really late grunts. Did you notice that? He only has 2 grunts on the field, his 3rd one right now, and the timing for that is pretty...
Yeah, it's like he forgot a grunt, because he's got plenty of gold, or maybe... Well, I guess actually he's going to hit this, and maybe he might go with a very fast second hero.
That might be it, but like you said, like I said, sorry, the grunt was really late. I wonder if he's not even going to do some harassment. Yeah, he's definitely going to come in with some harassment with these grunts right now. Just trying to, as the undead is trying to creep out this shop.
Yeah, he's just... Yep. Oh,
getting
yeah.
tested, so he's going to have to be a little more precautious. And HLA is doing really nice taking these creeps. He's not allowing the Orc to steal anything per se. He's getting some hits on his DK, but with that aura, he's going to be perfectly fine. And
Yeah.
he's picking off these Ogre Warriors pretty easily.
Yeah, and you know, we're going to see a Shadow Hunter coming out as the second hero for the Orc player, Mr. Cash here. And, I mean, he's actually going to get dusted once he get on that Blade Master. He's really having a hard time harassing this game. Again, it's coming down, I think, a lot to the fact that HLA is creeping this really, really well. He has a great, very excellent creep pattern, allowing him to pick up level 2. Very vital to get that aura. It's not even just the fact that it gives you the movement speed. It also gives you a bit of regeneration on your fiends. It's really, really nice. And, of course, as you can see, it helps you kiting away from a level 1 Blade Master pretty easily. Now, also, don't forget that with a level 1 Blade Master, he is not capable of getting any crits, and he is playing this actually really close. If he gets a coil, he will almost die. So he's going to have to be really, really careful. And there's actually that Death Knight picking up a potion of greater mana as well, so he could pop that potentially if that Death Knight plays a little too risky here. Of course, I'm sure Cash is going to click on that Death Knight to see what the item is. Oh, going to see very nice, still picking up level 2 on that Blade Master as well. Unfortunately, not going to stick around to try to go ahead and grab that Tome of Strength. But
Shadow Hunter now in the mix.
Shadow Hunter.
Yep. And the Lich is almost popping out for the Undead player as well. He's researching Burrow. I would like to see more Undead players research +1 Fiends. I mean, with this composition, +1 Fiends are really strong against Grunts. It allows the Undead player to push away the Orc player. He's bringing in his Ghouls, actually, and an Acolyte.
What?
I am very confused with what HLA is doing, but this is definitely scary. Cashy probably going to lose this Grunt right here, definitely.
Oh, that's an Acolyte that was built specifically for, I think, a Tower Rush, in fact, it looks like.
I wonder if the Lich is going to buy a Sacrificial Skull. Yes, it is. Wow, HLA is going...
And a Potion of Mana. And he just used that Greater Potion of Mana on his Death Knight, so he's going to be sitting in a ton of mana, and is also about to hit level 3 on that Death Knight, so this could be a potentially very strong push, especially when you consider that Blade Master is only barely into level 2.
Yep, and Cash obviously scouting that Acolyte, making as many units as he can right now. He's making a Spirit Walker, he's making a Ensnare, and he canceled the Grunt.
Canceled the... Well, that's an interesting choice. Grunt.
That is an interesting choice. I wonder what he's going to do. He's probably going to try to keep him... Keep the Undead player at the shop right here. The Undead player is just going to... Oh, with that Frost Armor, he's going to be really, really hard to take down with that Blade Master. And he's just going to try to steal all his creeps and then eventually push in to the base. That Spirit Walker obviously coming in, going to provide some...
that makes sense now. Yeah, he went ahead and canceled that Grunt, I think, because... he wanted to get that additional Spirit Walker. If you look at his food, he is going to be sitting at 44. Well, he was sitting at 40 out of 40. Now he's sitting at 40 out of 50. But it's going to work out anyway because he is going to go ahead and research Berserker Strength. Now, this fight is going underway right here at Cashy's base. Looking pretty good for HLA. He's going to go ahead and drop that Blight Skull. However, that Death Knight is actually currently surrounded. And if he is forced out with a TP, that is going to really end this whole tower push right here.
Yeah, and if he's going to kill that Grunt, I think the DK is going to get out. Oh, the Grunt is trying to close it. He has another Hex, and he's... DK's getting focused. Is it going to go down?
Oh, he goes down.
DK dies. What a great hold by Cashy. He just needs to make sure that he does not lose as many units as possible. Obviously, these Spirit Walkers, with the peons pulled, provide a lot of Spirit Link, which does not take as many damage on his units. That Lich is also getting surrounded, and he's going to take down the Lich. He moves out the Fiend. Oh, it gets Hexed. Can he get a Windwalk in? His Blade Master only has 73 mana. Can he get a Windwalk in and kill that Lich? He's probably going to sack it to the creeps. He cannot afford to give experience.
Oh, he just leveled up.
Oh, he just leveled up. He's
he goes for the number!
Oh, wow, he HP pots. That is amazing. I think that Lich is going to go down, but that was not for lack of trying. But there's so many Fiends on the field with no heroes to protect them. I wonder if this Shadow Hunter is going to be targeted. He's going to be targeted down, but is it going to go down? I don't think so. And right now, HLA is still sitting out here with a lot of Fiends and no heroes to protect them.
Yeah, but that's okay because he's still got a lot of Fiends, and you know, there's not that many units right now for the Orc player. There's not really any kind of battle units out here. Again, there was, you know, that one Walker, that one Raider, and I think we just saw a Grunt coming out. But other than that, I mean, those heroes, they're both very low. They can't really take these fights, and we can just see these burrows to let those guys heal up. They don't have a dust on either one of those Orc heroes, so it's only a matter of time at this point. And before, you know, Cashy is forced to, well... I'm not sure why I said Cashy. I meant to say HLA is forced to back off, but he's not really going to lose a lot of units from that because Cashy can't really chase him down. I mean, once he heals up, he could easily do so. But it's not going to matter because HLA's already made it halfway across the map by now. And that Death Knight is about to come back out. He is level 3, and it was a really, really nice move though with that Lich. I'm kind of surprised because I think he could have either suicided into the creeps or maybe even been able to possibly pick up a Zeppelin, which would have been a really ghosty move. I mean, it would have been difficult if he had just been able to bring a Fiend up there to tank those creeps. He easily could have done it though.
Yeah, and this hold from Cash is going to be really nice. He's going to creep out his Goblin Laboratory, trying to pick up his hero levels. Keep in mind that Death Knight is level 3, so he wants his Blade Master to be equal, and maybe even getting that Shadow Hunter to level 3 as well. So now that he held that beautifully, by the way, he can allow to have map control back, allowing himself to creep.
And also, another thing about the consequence of that, I mean, is that HLA is sitting at tier 2, and he's going to have to make the decision. He's got all these fiends. I think he has 7, right? Yes, indeed.
Yeah, and the Blade Master
fiends.
picking up an Ankh of Reincarnation.
That's a
Really
very
nice item.
Yeah. But of course, HLA, he really has to consider this, because if he stays at tier 2 for much longer now, he's going to have a bit of a dilemma, because once those Spirit Walkers are adept training, which is going to be something that's going to get researched fairly soon for Cash, and also note that Cash is currently teching to tier 3 as well, so he's going to have an orb. Ah, good. Yeah, here it is from HLA. Yeah. So I was going to say, HLA, is, if he stays at tier 2 much longer, then he was going to have an issue, because the Dispel would really kind of screw over his tier 2 ability, like the advantages he got from the Frost Armor. And of course, with the Raiders, Burrow, it's nice and you can dodge ensnares, but if you're not going to dodge every ensnare, and if you get ensnared and you don't have Frost Armor because it's getting dispelled and you're losing your skeletons because they're getting dispelled, it's a bit of a pain, so you really do need to go ahead and get that on up to tier 3.
Yeah, keep in mind, the Blade Master stealing the Invuln pot from the Goblin Merchant of the Undead player, but the DK does have an Ankh of Reincarnation of his own that he crept out with that Goblin Laboratory, and now he's creeping the Merc Camp. So Undead player in a pretty good position. He's probably going to pick up level 4 from this creep. The Shadow Hunter itself picking up level 3, so they're both just creeping up, and they're both looking really, really good right now. Obviously, the Undead player has a lot of Fiends, and is looking pretty scary, but the Orc is doing really well, and Cash is containing his army with the scouting ability of the Blade Master. He's going to see where he is, and he knows that he's probably creeping outside of his base. Nobody would take that much of a risk as an Undead player going that far away. Cash obviously picking up a Kodo Beast and Headhunters. So he's going to transition into probably some late game
the standard late game army for Orc, really. I mean, against Undead, it's, you know, the grunt. You sometimes will have 1 or 2 grunts, a couple of Raiders, a couple of Spirit Walkers, and then just a lot of those Troll Berserkers. They do a lot of damage. You know, 1 or 2 Kodo Beasts in the back. Generally, you want to have at least 2 Kodo Beasts. And the reason for that is going to be because if 1 Kodo Beast goes down, and then becomes very, very high priority of a target when there's only 1 on the field, it's a lot of damage your army is actually going to go ahead and lose. And this fight is going to go underway. We're just going to see a Coil Nova on that Spirit Walker to go ahead and take him down, trying to block this grunt as this Orc army is speed scrolling out. Will we see an ensnare on that Death Knight? Yes, we will, but a Coil going down on the Raider, as well as a Healing Wave, trying to go ahead and negate the damage. Gonna go ahead and see that this Raider should be okay to get out of there. HLA gonna back off down here, say, let's see, can I go grab some more experience while you're sitting in your base? And that's not a bad idea, because of course high level undead heroes are a big thing, and actually you can see a lot of those items from the Death Knight have been passed on over to the Lich, and they have him bringed up to plus 9 damage and 725 life, so that Lich is looking pretty strong.
Yep, and keep in mind, HLA is teching his +2 ability for his units. He's got a second statue coming out before his Destroyer form. I think he just wants to have those Destroyers ready for if he does push. He doesn't really care about Destroyer form. He can wait as long as he has those statues in to heal up his units' health and mana.
Yeah, well, it's very difficult to fight without Destroyers when they have Spirit Link, to be completely honest. So I'm sure it's something that's very much on his mind. So, but yeah, like you said, I mean, just having your statues out, letting you regenerate your units, it's not a bad thing, because he's you know, he's pretty safe to know. It's a pretty safe assumption that HLA isn't going to have that Orc player come into his base right now. So you might as well, you know, just buy yourself some time, because he's only probably going to be creeping right now. He did see that there was a skirmish and Cash was not ready to fight him, which means HLA sitting fine, I think, just to get to delay the Destroyers a little bit and get a little bit more mana and HP as a result. It's good from his statues.
Yep, the Orc player still doesn't have Berserker form upgraded. I think he just wants to get as many units as possible before he upgrades. Yeah, it's good to go ahead. It's one of those upgrades where it's always better to have units that are getting upgraded. And actually, we're about to see a fight coming underway right now. As you can see, a nice early dust on that Blade Master. Actually going to go ahead and prevent Kashi from getting the kind of positioning he wants in that fight. And he's going to go ahead and back off just a little bit, wait for the Healing Wave, and now try to come right back in with these Spirit Links. But here comes those Destroyers with pretty much perfect timing for Kashi. Go ahead and see that Blade Master getting nuked down by these Coils and Novas. Absolutely really well done right now by HLA. He's controlling the
game, and that Orc player is going to be forced to run away and lose units as he goes to this Coil Nova. And HLA, as long as he has mana, as long as he can sustain his mana, in fact, he should have no problems. But we will see this one destroyer sitting here getting ensnared, which is actually going to keep him kind of anchored at this position, which means he can't go back and try to creep out that red just yet, even though this Blade Master is simply having to heal up with this healing salve before he's actually going to be concerned or ready to go ahead and start fighting. And of course, HLA's response to that is going to be go ahead and creep out the orange camp that my Destroyer is anchored to.
Yep,
Yeah.
and now Cash is going to take a fight right outside the shop. Keep in mind, the shop still hasn't been fought yet, and the gnolls are coming out to help out the undead player, hitting a lot of these troll headhunters. But Kashi is doing so much damage with that orb of lightning. One destroyer probably going to go down here. Yeah, there he goes. And the second one, too.
Yeah, and once both of those destroyers go down, it's definitely, oh, very nice save with that coil right there on the destroyer. Going to try to keep him alive. Unfortunately, he's not going to be able to quite get away, but we will go ahead and see another statue coming in here. It's going to immediately morph into a destroyer, and he's going to go ahead and try to dispel. It looks like a spear link, and of course, we're going to see a lot of these fiends very low on life getting burrowed, and it's kind of interesting that Kashi does not have a dust right now. He has no way to actually go ahead and get these units out, and of course, since HLA has been so offensive with his nukes, he's out of mana for coiling, and he's going to go ahead and be forced to TP because he does not want to lose these fiends, and they are currently getting owned by that immolation in the ground. You see one going down as he gets out because he was sitting there, I think, at like 10 life. You probably would have died to the immolation even if the Blade Master hadn't actually attacked him in that situation. But hey, it was just unfortunate for HLA. Just, didn't, if he had a mana potion or, maybe a little bit more time with those statues to heal up some more mana, it would have been nice.
Yeah, and HLA knows he has to go over here, allowing the Orc player to have that creep. He's picking up Endurance Aura for the Orc, or Unholy Aura, sorry, with that Legion Doomhorn. And right now, the Orc player is looking really, really stacked.
He is.
He's looking really, really stacked. I mean, wow, I can't believe he gave that creep up to the Undead player. He's going to pick up level 5.
Yeah, now level 5 is a very nice item. We're going to go ahead and see. It looks like a Gloves of Haste, I think, was passed on over to the Death Knight from the Lich. I'm not really sure what happened there, but definitely going to see one item being down drawn. Of course, that Blade Master coming in here, going to go ahead and try to kill that Fiend, but he is going to get killed very, very close to death. And you're going to see, of course, a lot of nuke onto the Blade Master as well with that Frost Nova, forcing him to pop that Potion of Lesser Invulnerability. Of course, we're going to see HLA chasing down this army once again. I mean, he's got that level 5 Death Knight. He has another coil out. If that Blade Master opens up and he doesn't have a Windwalk and he doesn't even has 14 mana, yeah, he might be in a lot of trouble right here because we're going to see that coil Nova onto the Blade Master. The Blade Master goes down. Death Knight does have a lesser healing or lesser potion of invulnerability being passed to him from the Lich. He's going to go ahead and use that to get out of that bad spot, and Kashi is on the retreat because this is not looking good for him at all.
Yep, he's going to have to get his Blade Master, revived at the tavern, which does cost a lot of gold, but at this point in time, he can't wait the full altar time to revive it. That just gives way too much map control for the Orc player, for the Undead player, sorry, and the Undead player would just take over the map control, take over the creeping, and just basically just, keep him contained. So he definitely wants to have that Blade Master quick as possible so that he can maintain controlling the map like he has been. But that was a really, really a mixture of a terrible positioning by Kashi playing a little bit too overly aggressive, but a great move with the dust and the nukes by the Undead player.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, he went for that Death Knight, and I think it was because I don't think at the time the Death Knight had a town portal, but if he had, I don't think he saw that his Blade Master was so low on mana, because if he did, I can't imagine he would have willingly done that versus a level 5 Death Knight with mana for a coil. And his Blade Master going into that was already an orange HP, so it really wasn't a safe call at all from Cash. But of course, we're just going to go ahead and see both of these players vying a little bit for positioning, maybe trying to buy a little bit of time, waiting for more units to come in to reinforce this, waiting for a little bit more mana for your heroes, etc. And of course, HLA, he's glad to keep on creeping. He will get level 5 on that Lich if he is capable of doing so. And also, he's denying experience from Cash that Cash won't be getting. But, as you can see, it looks like HLA willing to back off for those 2 creeps right there, giving them to Cash. And of course, Cash is now going to run up here. He does have an orange camp that he can creep out, as well as a couple of greens. So it looks like he's going to go for those greens real quick. Probably going to go for the orange right after that. And meanwhile, down here on the bottom side of the map, we can see HLA ready to go ahead and, well, he's pulled a goal. All of his goals, in fact. I'm kind of curious to see what is he doing in his base. Not all of his goals, he actually had 4, so he's got 3 in his army now. Sitting with about 1,116 wood. HLA doesn't really need all 4 of those guys mining anymore. And in fact, they're probably better suited, as dead at this point rather than mining ghouls, because they're taking up food and they're not really giving a lot of benefit to HLA, so he's might well bringing them to that army.
Yep, and obviously Cash picking up the sentry ward's going to give him a lot of vision around the map. He put the first one right above the tavern, so he's going to see the school coming in. And if the undead tries to go up to his base from the top, he might put one on the other side to see where that, or right next to the shop, I guess. That'd be a good idea too.
I wouldn't be surprised to see him just sell the sentry ward right there. To be complete, I mean, he might not, but I really wouldn't be surprised. He's got one very nice position. You know, if you could go ahead and drop that or sell it, whichever one. Of course, getting the vision's always nice, but at this point,
He might keep that as a dust for the fiends if
he
they
could
burrow.
also do that. That would actually be really, really brilliant. Really, really good. So that would be really nice, and that would actually it's one of those silent things. I mean, there is a sound when you place the ward. It's like a. That's not. I don't know how to do the sound.
Yeah,
but the point,
like little like the shotgun. Yeah.
well, no, it's not a shot. It's more of like a
I know what you
sticky
mean.
dart getting placed. I don't know. It's weird. But did he sell it or did he place it somewhere? Did he put it on his Shadowhunter? Let's see. He put it on his Shadowhunter. Now, in fact, he actually has a tiny Great Hall on that Shadowhunter as well. Looks like he is going for an expansion, bringing in these peons over here. Will he put up some towers to try to defend this, or will he, maybe put down a burrow or just say, screw it, let's mine? Meanwhile, there's actually a gold kind of patrolling around these gold mines at the top part of the map, so he looks like he's probably going to find this pretty much immediately. And indeed, we're going to see one watchtower going down up there, so, well, it looks like he might go up there. Let's see, I think he will.
HLA building a Crypt Lord third. Going for
Not a bad choice. Not a bad choice.
Is it too late for that though? I mean,
No.
Fine, that Crypt Lord is very tanky early, but it's also going to be very vulnerable at a low level, and it's going to have to rely on basically killing the Orc's army for experience.
Yeah, but that's fine. And it's going to be super useful because you're going to have Impales. Impales are useful versus Mass Troll Berserkers the same way they're really useful versus Riflemen. It's one of those heroes. It's really well worth it, even though it's going to be level 1. It's a strength hero, it's melee, like you said, and it's getting level 2 very easy, especially when you're going to have a lot of these units dying very quickly at the start of this fight, I think, because we're going to see a lot of Troll Berserkers going down to some heavy nuking, I think, and I really wouldn't be surprised to see a very fast level 2 on that Crypt Lord. And once you get level 2, you get your armor upgrade, your spiked carapace. It's pretty good, and of course we're going to see HLA now. He's running out these acolytes. He might go for an expansion at this point. It looks like both players have mined out their gold mines. Indeed they have, and of course Kashi did put up this tiny Great Hall, and he does have fortified armor for these towers, so he does have that one tower, and it's fairly tanky. He's got 500 life and 3 fortified armor, so it's not too bad, but by itself it's obviously not going to stop an army. So, but it is a nice supplement for when Cash decides to try to defend that, and of course he's going to keep his army fairly close to that if he can. And
Cash buying the Scroll of Healing, a great item when you have these nukes going down on your troll berserkers. If he can land that timing, it basically just negates one full nuke wave, which is really nice. And the undead's going for a big push here. He does have that expo at the bottom. The orc has an expo of his own that's being attacked by ghouls. It's probably going to die to that tower, so he's going to have an expo during this fight. And Cash is now running back to the fight, which is taking down the Voodoo Lounge of the orc player. HLA getting in pretty good position. You want to take down that shop, just forces the orc to not be able to buy any items for healing or anything like that. I don't think he really cares about taking down this barracks. I think he's just attacking something while waiting to get a good position. Yep, he's going to back up, try to get his position nicely, and we're going to see a huge fight coming down. The orc player does not have a good position, though, and he can't really find a way to get in there, and the undead player is just... He's looking really, really good with positioning. The Destro's on the high ground right now, going to be able to nuke around. Oh, and then Snare going down, and there you go. There's the first Impale and Nova, and a nice healing wave, and the fight's going to take place right here.
Absolutely, and of course, I mean, this is not a great spot at all for Cash. As you can see, he's really versus a very tight wall of fiends right now, and it's very difficult to get your melee units in there and do any kind of damage. And that Blade Master is taking a lot of damage. He's gonna be forced to pop a potion of lesser invulnerability kind of early on. Generally, you do have to do that, and I mean, these destroyers still living decent. I mean, they're still 2 up, and you only really need to have 1 or 2 up just to get rid of that Spirit Link. We're gonna see that Crypt Lord taking some focus as well. He's gonna get a coil and another fiend now. Just seeing that Blade Master just chop. He is level 5 now, and he is actually getting fairly low as well. But he's gonna get a healing wave to heal back up, and that Kodabe's going to
That Lich getting really low, and the coil was already used with a that Lich is going down. And the Shadowhunter does have a potion of mana or health that he could pass over to that Blade Master to keep him alive. Keep in mind the Sentry Ward has still not gone down, and there are burrowed fiends on the court. Okay, there we go. That potion of healing on that Blade Master going down. I wonder if he's going to put down that display, that Sentry Ward to see this fiend here. There's there's literally no army for the undead player. He's got 2 destroyers, and if he puts down the sentry ward, he could. There we go. The sentry ward goes down. He's going to kill this fiend, and definitely the other fiend before the TP goes down. Wow, huge 192 crit, and that's what Cash is going to rely on. What a great hold. What a great hold. Keep in mind, both of these players have
An expansion.
expansions up.
Absolutely, and that Lich is on his way back out, but it looks like Cash is on his way to go ahead and scout out the expansions right now with that Blade Master as well as his army, and I don't really know if HLA can actually hold that position at this point now that he's lost his Lich.
No, I bet you, I don't even think by the time he gets over there, he can save any of these acolytes. Yeah, he's going to have to run them out.
An
And
unsummoned gold mine.
unsummons. That's really unfortunate.
Yeah, definitely not at all what he was looking for. Really just crazy burst coming in from Cash, but really well timing to switch the focus to that Lich right after that coil was used, and it paid off. And the Lich, of course, ended up in that terrible positioning, caught behind with a tree on his back and a Blade Master to his front.
Yeah,
Nothing good about that.
Oh, he takes a coil, but he does win walk out, and he's going to see that the undead army consists of 2 destroyers, a Crypt Lord, and a Death Knight with another
Gonna
statue.
see the Lich getting Taverned, though, because he did cancel it from the altar. He's unsummoning right now, and he's going to go ahead and buy that. This is his final stand, it looks like. What's going to happen? I'm kind of curious. Is he going to pass that potion of mana to the Lich? Because it would probably be more better for the Death Knight.
Position. He does not have a lot of damage coming into the Orc army. He just has nukes, really. That Lich is going to get targeted.
If he can kill these heroes, he'll be okay, though.
Yeah, that's very true. He's going to have to rely on nuking, and that destroyer is going to get targeted down, and that Blade Master is awfully really low. He has a potion of Invuln, though, so if he is careful, he's going to pop it in time.
It might be on cooldown.
Oh wow,
Nope,
no,
guess not.
it's definitely up now. That destroyer is going to get taken down, which leaving only Tri-Hero against a somewhat full Orc army. I don't think there's much HLA can do. There's a huge crit coming down, an ensnare, a big coil, and he's going to try to focus down that Blade Master, but there is a healing wave on that Shadow Hunter that we might see before a coil. Are we going to see it before a coil?
Yeah.
Okay, we are. Okay, that was
Good
pretty huge.
game. Good game.
Really
Well
nice.
done.
That was really well. That was a really nice.
Cash was really behind that entire game and just pulled it out at the end. Nice hero, nice micro at that last fight, and just really well done.
Yeah, I think we should go all the way back to the first push that HLA did with the towers. It was really his decision to stop that grunt, make that extra Spirit Walker, pull peons, and just take a fight where he has a lot of spirit link.
Well,
that was
I think it was more the fact that he got a really good surround on that Death Knight and was actually able to kill it during a hex, so he couldn't TP out.
But I mean,
my opinion,
definitely was a factor as well.
I think that might have been the whole thing, really. And in fact, being able to kill both of those heroes during a tier 2 tower push netted him a ton of experience. I think it was somewhere in the range of about 400 experience almost, and that's pretty good. Considering when the undead player had clearly committed to that tier 2 push, dropped a lot of resources for it, and it just did not pay off at all. But and I guess there for a little while, then I think maybe I don't even know. I would say Cash had the advantage though at that point. I think he held, but I don't think he really had the advantage because HLA still had the majority of his units alive. I think he lost 2 or 3 fiends in that fight, whereas Cash lost almost all of his units. And I mean, reviving your 2 heroes, it's not really all that expensive when they're level 1 and 2. Although I do think that Death Knight was level 3 now that I think about it. Yeah, it was 3 and 2. But again, really not all that expensive if you do it from the altar, which I think is what we saw HLA do.
Anyway, guys, yeah, that was good analysis. That was really good analysis. This is a best of 3, though.
It is a best of 3. That was game 1. If you'd like to watch game 2, there's an annotation right here that you can click, and we'll see you there, hopefully.